Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Vaishnavi and I'm a cabin crew, and in this video I will talk about my cabin crew journey so far. A lot of people know that I'm flying for Etihad for a year now, and I did flew in India as well for IndiGo, but IndiGo was not the first airline that I interviewed for. So in this video I will share about how and from where did I start my cabin crew journey. So my first interview for an airline was in 2019. I interviewed for an airline which is not in operations anymore, but I interviewed for Go Air. It was called Go Air back then, and I think I was 21. I was 20 or 21. I did get the job. I did get the part, but I think I interviewed in November or December, and by the time my documentations and medicals and everything else was done, COVID hit, and just like every other airline, Go Air also stopped their operations. So if there is no flying, there is no need for cabin crew. So they also stopped their training, and I was actually very disappointed because I really thought that it's going to get over soon and I will get my flying job and everything like that. And I was also actually working in a hotel at that point of time. So when I got Go Air, I left the hotel job as well. And then I didn't get the Go Air job also because of COVID. So I think I had to go back home. I was home for 2 years. There were no new interviews for airlines, and I get it. But I always kept mailing them, to ask, that when will they start trading again? What is the airline planning? Like, should I hold on to this job that they gave me, or like what? But even they were not sure, which I understand because there were no operations. So I think after 2019, in 2021, I interviewed for IndiGo because IndiGo was the only airline that was hiring. So I think in 2021 November, I interviewed for IndiGo. It was a 1 day process, like all 3-4 rounds happen in 1 day, and by end of the day we knew that we have the job. And the next day we had our medicals, which was very fast. They were very quick, which I really loved because after waiting for 2 years I was desperate at that point to just start flying. So yeah, I did my medicals next day, and I think in a week I started my training already. They were so quick and they were very approachable, I must say. Anyway, so I started my training. Training was 2.5 months. I started flying February 2022, and I was on top of the world. I was so happy, you know. Waiting for 2 years, I was literally dying inside, thinking it's not going to happen for me anymore, or no airline will ever hire again, or the COVID will never end. But I think that was the case with everybody else. Anyways, so I did fly with Indigo for 2 years, and I really thoroughly enjoyed my time there. Uh, I learned a lot. I made good friends. I was flying from 3 different cities. I changed my base 3 times like a crazy person, but it worked out for me. And after like a year and a half in Indigo, International Airlines started coming to India to hire crew, and I decided to interview. A lot of people may know or may not, but I interviewed for Qatar Airways in 2023, like mid. And actually, that was my second interview with Qatar. The first one, I did not get it, but the second one, I did get the job. I did my documentation and everything, but I think after like 2 months of this whole process, like after giving the interview till the time I was done with my documentations and visa and everything, they suddenly decided that I'm unfit for the job. Whatever was the reason, I have no idea. But I had already left my Indigo job because I thought I got Qatar, and history repeated itself. And then I also lost Qatar. So I was once again without any job and without any clue of what comes next, because Qatar was the only airline that was hiding in India at that point of time. So I was in Delhi that time, but because I had no job and no flying interviews coming up, I went back home and I was applying for jobs from home. And I think I applied for 4 airlines, uh, or I interviewed for 4 airlines. The first one was Air Arabia. The interview was online. It happened virtually, like the whole process happened virtually. And they were also very quick, very kind, and very nice to me. I think the process happened in a 15 or 20 days, and they were ready with the visa and everything. I'm sorry if I'm speaking too fast. So I got the job in Air Arabia, and then I applied in Air India, and uh, I did go for the interview. I did get the job, but they were very slow with the whole process of finalizing things and medical and documents and everything. So I did keep the job of Air India, but still I was applying at other international airlines because that was the goal. And somehow Etihad happened. I had applied for Etihad in 2021 with IndiGo, but they were not hiring. And then suddenly, 2023 October, you know, I just get a mail, like an invitation for an interview, and I was so happy. The interview happened in Delhi. There were more than 2,000 people, and I think only 50 or maybe 100 maximum of us got selected, which was the best day ever for me because it happened out of nowhere. But I went for the interview. For some people, it was a 2 day process. For me, it was a 3 day process because my PI, like the personal interview, was on day 3. And they were also super quick. I After that we got the English test and everything. And yeah, that's how I ended up in Etihad. Uh, so I interviewed for Go Air, Indigo, Air Arabia, Air India, and Etihad. And I love giving interviews. It teaches you a lot about yourself. If you get the job, it's the best. But if you don't get the job, I personally believe you do learn a lot about places where you're lacking and you need improvement. The panel might not give you a direct feedback, but I think you just understand that this was the area where you did not feel confident enough, where you can work on, and you can come back and interview again. So I know I spoke like really fast, but it started in 2019 and it is 2025 now. In between, I've applied for so many airlines and I interviewed for 5 different airlines, and a lot of shit happened. I was supposed to go to Goa, but I did not. I was supposed to join Qatar, but I could not. So I think one thing that has always worked for me is to get over, the failure or whatever thing quickly, and then just move on to the next thing, because you need to focus on the bigger picture. You need to know, you need to understand that rejection, you cannot take it personally. You always have to go and find the other ways to get it done for you. You owe it to yourself, because there are crazy amount of people out there looking for the same job. So that if you don't do the effort, and if you don't go out, and if you don't appear for the interview, somebody else will, and good for them. But you need to do the work. You need to put the efforts for yourself. I'm so sorry. I kind of get very touchy when it comes to all this, because uh, it was a tough time for me when I couldn't join GoAir and I had to wait 2 years, and I already left my previous job. And same thing happened again with Qatar and IndiGo. But I think that was my lesson, and I needed to learn that. Uh, and that because Qatar rejected me on the last stage, because I got rejected from other airline, I now appreciate being an Etihad so much more. So that was my flying experience. That is my cabin crew journey, and it might look easy from outside if you see somebody who's already flying. But believe me, if you go and approach any crew, all of them will have some or the other story of how they made it happen for them. So if you're somebody who's gotten rejected or who's not getting replies from the airlines, please keep trying. You owe it to yourself, because once you get the job, it's so worth it. It's so worth it, believe me. And I really hope this video helped you, in understanding where you stand and what you need to do with this whole thing. Yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching the video. And I apologize again if I went too fast. Uh, that's it. Please keep watching. Please keep supporting me. And all the best for your interview.